Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. JC here with another video on Action Taimanin. Today we're gonna do another BR builds, but before we start, don't forget to leave a like, share and subscribe if you enjoy the content. So, today we're gonna check Snare. For this video, I have like F2P options, limited options. I'm gonna play with all the characters who can snare effectively. But you can do many combinations with the equipment, with the gear that I have, and one of these you could substitute for an attacker, just so that you take advantage of the fact that the enemy is not going to be able to move. You can use something like Astaroth, you can use preferably range attackers, Micah, you can use like Sora is another great option. Or if you want, you can use mid-range attackers like Phantasma, like Yukikaze, like Aina. Melee attackers are still not the greatest options, but you can use them. Because the enemy still knockbacks, the enemy still do their attacks, so keep that in mind. So, let's start with Sakura. Sakura, as I have shown, it's a very competent snare character. So we're going to use this. The first thing that we are going to be using are wood magatamas. The wood magatamas, when you have 4, are going to give you a 20% chance of snaring the enemy when attacked. And it lasts for 5 seconds and it's every 5 seconds. So it is pretty decent in my opinion. The weapon is whatever. And this is also whatever, it's just a bit stick. They're not going to give us utility. The important thing are the skills and supporters, as well as the magatamas. These are great. Then we're going to use Shadow Tangle, which is a skill that snares the enemy. We're going to use Shadow Spin, which recovers my HP, and Shadow Shift to reduce damage. So she's going to work as a tank. I'm going to be using Yusuriha. Yusuriha increases damage dealt with range attacks on snare enemies. So yeah, on that regard, I don't have range attacks, but it doesn't matter. The important thing is the passive on the main slot. Snare up to 4 random enemies for 6 seconds. Apply every 4.5 seconds with a 50% chance. That's pretty great. It's very useful. This is an effect that one of the UR supporter has, just so that you know. And it is very good. I'm also going to use Nana to reduce damage taken, but you can use other things, especially in this build, because you don't have to go pure. As you can see, these are main, 2 blue, and 2 blue, yeah. So we can go with other supporters like, for example, Butler Asagi, we can go with Akina, we can go with this one for damage if you want, Fuma Amane, and there was one, Sakura. You can use Sakura, and depending on what you want, you can use either Hisui or Major. I mean, all according to context. These are for the LWS squad, of course. Lastly, I have Arabella, but as I mentioned, I could change her. Like, I might, because I need the damage so that I can heal myself. I'll keep it this way. Then I'm going to use Heviko, and she's going to be a main damage dealer. But what is Heviko going to do? Well, Heviko is going to use anti-machine with water element, as you can see. This is 5 out of 5 plus 14, and this is 5 out of 5 plus 11. Whatever magatamas. Then Octopus Windmill, because I'm using the limited weapon, and I'm also going blue. Like either way, you can use this. If you have the limited weapon or not. Like, it doesn't really affect that much the performance in this case, just so that you know. Octopus Field to deal damage and get safe. And lastly, Octopus Choke. This is the skill that allows you to inflict snare on the enemy. It doesn't say that it inflicts snare, but it does. It says Constrict. Constrict is snare. For some reason it's not yellow. Continue attack. Well, whatever. In any case, she's going to be a damage dealer. She doesn't have HP recovery. Well, she does technically in the form of Octopus Field by getting Devil Link, but that's not going to recover enough HP. You want to use Noah Brown. Noah Brown you should use when doing Snare strategies. She gives great value to those strategies. It says increases damage dealt against Snare enemies, and if I'm not mistaken, when max out it's going to be a 30% damage increase, and then reduces damage taken from Snare enemies, I think by 20% or 25% when max out, or 20 something, like it's 3 points. 25% when max out, or 24, I don't know, whatever. It's going to reduce the damage taken and increase damage dealt to Snare enemies, which is great. Now, this also gives you a chance to recover HP by 2% of the damage you deal. That's why we are giving her so much damage. And it also has a chance to ensnare all enemies for 6 seconds. So that's great. Then we have Felicia. Felicia, it's another good option to have on the main, because she also gives HP recovery, and she gives damage reduction too, but I prefer to use it on the sub slot in this case. And Amane. I'm going very aggressive because I have Noah and I have Felicia. If I didn't have Noah, I would put Felicia on the main and I would put other damage reduction supporters. If I didn't have Felicia, I would go with Akina and other defensive supporters so that she can keep herself alive. Lastly, I'm going to use Eleanor. Eleanor requires her limited set. If you don't have her limited set, she is not going to be a part of this strategy. So, with her limited set, well, just the limited weapon. The Guide of the Starry Sea allows you to snare the enemies when hit. When hit with Reflective Ray for 10 seconds and reduces their critical resistance by 10%. That doesn't really matter. Increases critical damage dealt with to enemies with wet status. That doesn't really matter. I'm not going to do that. So, Reflective Ray, we're going to use this one. And by the way, I'm going to use White Feather Aska. You don't need White Feather Aska for the strategy. It's just a way to enhance it. So keep that in mind. Reflective Ray. Also, I'm going to use Acid Rain because I'm using White Feather Aska. And I'm going to use, I guess, Geyser Burst. But Geyser Burst, you have to be careful. The amount of multi-hit is great. Well, the fact that you are going to hit an enemy, get near an enemy, is not that great. So keep that in mind and use it properly. The other ones are very easy to use. Geyser Burst, you have to time it properly. So, White Feather Aska to break super armor and increase my damage by a little bit because I'm suppressed. No, I'm not suppressed. So I'm not using it for the passive. I'm using it for the extra passive on the active to break super armor. You don't get any benefit other than that. Then you can use Yukina and Susune. As you can see, you can change these for other supporters depending on what you want. You can use Gal Lilim. You can use, I don't know, who else? Stella. You can use Shirayuki. There's options. There's many options. So, one more thing. As I mentioned previously, you can change whichever you want of these. Like, the easy one to replace is Eleanor, because Eleanor you probably don't have with the limited weapon. Some of you may, some of you may not. So in that case, you can just change it for whichever good attacker you have. Okay? Pretty easy, right? So, let's do a run. I'm going to use the 3 of them so that you can see the power of this strategy. Yeah, like, it is pretty good. Even though most enemies in VR do have some form of range attack in their kit, like, snaring them is pretty useful. So I just do this and they cannot move. and I hit them, and I break the super armor, so they are super easy to interrupt. Like, White Theraska enhances this strategy a lot, because you're going to be able to attack them continuously, and you're going to give breathing room for Heaviko in particular. Because Heaviko is the one that gets the closest. Well, Sakura too, but Heaviko needs to do the constrict attack. Come on. Like this. And she's not recovering enough HP, as you can see. She's in a dire situation. Heaviko, come on. Use your passive. You can do it. I mean, she should recover HP with Noah. I'm going to use the ultimate. I'm going to give her more time to recover HP. Nice, nice, nice. Come on! Heaviko, no! Okay, that shouldn't have happened. I'm gonna try it again. I don't know why she wasn't recovering HP. Like, she should have. With all the damage increase that she has, I'm going to use her as the main, and I'm going to change this for another attacker, just to have footage of what should be the case. Also, remember that my Noah in particular is not that strong. It's S level 2. Plus 10, I think. So, there we go. Even so, Snare is just great. And Snare is really broken with White Theraska because you gather the enemies and you continuously attack them. So they're not able to do anything at all. White Theraska, and there we go. Nice. So very quickly, I'm going to revive her, and I'm going to pilot her myself, replacing Heaviko with another attacker. Like, I would use Sora, if not for the fact that my Sora is not level up. So instead I'm going to be using... like, I said Micah, Sora, and there was one more. Emily. Do I want to do Emily? I mean, Emily is not a bad choice, especially if you do have the weapon. Let me show you. I'm going to equip this weapon. It's not maxed out, but it's 4 out of 5, and it's plus 15. So it's good. Machine. And machine. There we go. Nice. So for this one, I'm going to go blue. So I'm going to equip... No. Huh. Okay. Asagi. Asagi is not using it. And... Eriko is using it. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I almost forgot, and it's a good thing that I'm using this. You can use this one. You can use Kaito on this strategy. So Kaito is really important because she's basically another Yuzuriha. She's basically another Yuzuriha. Like, you're not gonna get that much benefit. It says increase damage dealt with range attacks on snare enemies. That do help out. The critical rate increase is not going to help out because we're not going to crit. But yeah. With this, you're going to deal a little bit more damage. And you're going to snare the enemies, which is great. So I'm going to be using Homing Bullet, Gravity Hold, and Healing Field. So yeah, everything else is going to be the same. And you're going to heal now. Yeah, just 2 runs so that we can see how properly use this one. So I just move a little bit. Perfect. And I did it to the mobs, but it is not supposed to go to the mobs. And using an attacker that can also heal like Emily is going to be pretty good for someone like Heviko, who doesn't have HP recovery. Well, she does, as I mentioned, but it's kind of wacky, even so. So yeah, remember that Heviko is our main damage dealer. Okay, no, it was not on that side, or on that direction. Nice, perfect. Oof! Oh my god! I'm going to use this to let the cooldown of the supporter. Let's see. Ah, by the way, you can also use the active of the supporter to recover HP. That's another cool thing. Oh. Come on. Like, yeah. My Heviko isn't the greatest, but I bet she would be better if I had more copies of Noah. Yeah, blue Noah. Octopus Field. Okay, nice. Another one of these, and another one of these. And lastly, yeah, as you can see, I can survive easily, but I need to pilot Heviko in particular. Sakura is very competent and staying alive. Let me check. I just want to see something very quickly. I know that if you want to go mix, you need to change Octopus Field for something else. But what about Octopus Windmill? Yeah, you can use this on a mixed build because it's just critical rate, which we don't use on VR. And Octopus Field, you can change it for... No, well, I mean, you can use the counter, yeah, but it is not the greatest. Not a good idea on this one. This is actually okay. So instead of Octopus Field, you could go with Tentacle Angling. Like this. And you can change one of your supporters. Like, of course, as usual, you can use Misaki. A great way to recover HP. You can use Hisui, Major. You can use the Kirara. If you somehow poison the enemy, you can use this one to get more damage reduction. So yeah, there's many things that you can use. So yeah, that's about it, guys. What kind of characters do you like to use as main attackers for your snare strategies? Let me know in the comments, and I'll be seeing you next time. Bye!